Hi everyone, I'm George Jackson, executive producer and host of GovExec TV, and today's 5 questions are with Henry Brooks. He is president of Power and Controls at Collins Aerospace, an RTX business. Mr. Brooks, great to see you, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited about being here today.
So the conversation, and we've been covering it for years, Congress, DoD leadership, they need to do more around leveraging the tools of the commercial sector. A couple areas that you called out before we went on camera: dual use technology, faster acquisitions. What kind of tools, what kind of authorities do they have in their toolbox right now?
The government has a great tool in its toolbox. It's called FAR12. And what FAR12 does is it says, look, if you have commercial technology, it's already out there in the field, you're using it, it's on airplanes, we could actually tailor that and use it for defense applications also. By doing that, what happens is you get it faster, you get it for a lower cost, and you get high reliability with that hardware as well. So it's a good way to use taxpayers' money efficiently and also make sure that the warfighter has what it needs. And so FAR12 is a really interesting part that's underutilized today in the government. And what we're hoping is that we use it more going forward. We could actually bring solutions to the warfighter faster.
So, speed to mission, cost benefits to taxpayers, any other tangential benefits of leveraging FAR12 in the right way to DoD, to the armed services, to taxpayers?
Well, the taxpayers get a cost break when we do this. When you think about it, we spend millions of dollars on NRE every year. And we do that based on our own roadmap, technology roadmap. When something comes up and we can look at our technology roadmap and say, look, we've designed something very close to this already and it's flying, we can take that device, whatever that device may be, and modify it and propose that as a use for the military. When we can do that, we can say, number one, it's been flying, so reliability is higher. You can get it faster for your use itself, and it's going to cost the taxpayers a lot less money. And so we like that application a lot.
So non-recurring engineering costs is a big factor in this discussion. Talk to me about the importance there, because a lot of those technologies, those COTS or commercial off-the-shelf technologies, do have to be adapted for DoD. There is cost associated with that. So what does cutting non-recurring engineering costs out of the equation sort of result in through FAR12?
So it's interesting. FAR12, when you take a commercially off-the-shelf item, it doesn't mean that it's not going to have to be modified. It starts with a base case that exists. It starts with all those things that we spoke about before. It's got good reliability, it's got good pricing in the marketplace, and it's got hours on it already. But the reality of it is, for military use or defense use, it's going to require a fair amount of modifying just to make sure that it satisfies what the defense organization needs. And that's what we're able to do. That's where the NRE comes in, because now we need to charge, if you will, or pay to get those modifications done, get them validated, get them proofed, and get them on the airplane. That involves the envelope, it involves the power ratios, and a bunch of others. So when we do that, there is an NRE bill. We typically like to share that NRE bill with the government itself. So commercially off the shelf is not free. Commercially off the shelf is a starting point that will cause the defense network to pay less, if you will, for the solution.
Despite these benefits that you outlined to the taxpayer, speed to mission, improved functionality even, the acquisition of commercial technology is actually on the decline. According to data from Government Accountability Office, OMB, and others, the numbers are trending in the wrong direction. Why is that the case?
What's going on in the industry itself is the IP conversation and the data rights conversation has taken first place. And what the government typically wants in FAR15 contracts are the data rights, so they can take that technology that's developed and do with it as they will. When you have a FAR12 situation, the case is a bit different, because the data rights are owned by the people that created the technology itself. Companies like ours, for instance. And so we're not willing to give up those data rights, if you will, or the IP. But we understand that the warfighter needs to sometime use that technology and use the drawings, if you will, that we use to make it, and modify it or make repairs. And so what we do is we would like to take a license, if you will, or something like a licensing device, take that, put it into place, and let them use it where they need to use it to keep uptime in the right place on the warfighter itself. By doing that, they get what they need. The defense network gets what it needs. Our IP and our data rights still belong to us in some form, and we can all get solutions that actually work for us long term.
Mission imperative here is readiness. So as we come to a close, pull out maybe short-term, near-term objectives for FAR12. What can be done? Who are the stakeholders? What should they be doing right now?
We need to collaborate with the Department of Defense. We need to collaborate with people on Capitol Hill and in the Congress to make sure that they're advocating, if you will, for FAR12 where it's necessary. I'm going to say this about FAR12 and FAR15 as well. There is a very strong place for FAR15. And so I'm not an advocate saying there can only be FAR12. I'm saying FAR12 has a place and FAR15 has a place. If you want a bespoke solution that only is for the military, that could very well be a FAR15 type activity, and it should be. But if it doesn't have to be, if it can fly on a commercial airplane, and we actually have proven that already, then what we like to do is to say, let's use FAR12 instead. So what we want is to have the government and other stakeholders know the difference and know when to utilize both. And we're perfectly willing to support that effort. And if we need to help license, we'll do that. If we need to help educate, we'll do that as well. I spend a fair amount of time myself on Capitol Hill with those types of exercises.
Well, you've educated me today. Henry Brooks, President of Power and Controls at Collins Aerospace and RTX Business. Sir, thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
That was today's 5 questions. For GovExec TV, I'm George Jackson. Have a great day.